Jason Keller thought the cheap rental home was his fresh start. He'd signed the lease, unloaded the last box, and felt a sense of relief wash over him. This was it, a new beginning. But that first night, as the sun dipped below the horizon and painted the sky in shades of orange and purple, something felt deeply wrong. He pulled out his phone to send a picture of his new living room to his sister. He scrolled to his gallery, but his thumb froze. Every single photo was gone. Just a grid of black squares where thousands of memories used to be. He restarted his phone, thinking it was a glitch. Nothing. He opened his social media apps. Old photos, pictures from college, family vacations. His face was blurred out in every single one, like a smudge of charcoal over a portrait. A knot of anxiety tightened in his stomach. What was happening? He then noticed the printed photos he'd placed on the mantle. The frames were empty. The glass was intact, but the pictures inside had vanished. He checked his wallet, where he kept a worn photo of his parents. Gone. It was as if his entire visual history was being systematically erased. He told himself it was stress. Moving was tough. Maybe he'd misplaced them. But he couldn't shake the chilling feeling that he was being watched. The next morning, the unease turned to dread. A photo frame he'd left on his nightstand was on the floor, the glass shattered. The picture, a snapshot of him and his dog from years ago, was still inside, but it was mangled. The edges were torn and appeared to have been chewed. He picked it up, his hand trembling. The teeth marks were small, almost childlike, but there were dozens of them, frantic and sharp. They weren't animal marks. They looked human. That night, sleep was impossible. Every creak of the old house sent a jolt of adrenaline through him. Around 2 a.m., he heard it, a soft, rhythmic scraping from inside the walls. It sounded like small, delicate hands dragging their nails across old, splintered wood. The sound moved, circling his bedroom. Then came the whisper, a dry, raspy voice, so close it felt like it was right beside his ear. "I need the last picture." Jason's heart hammered against his ribs. He wasn't just stressed, he was in danger. The next day, he bought several small security cameras and set them up, pointing one directly at the living room wall where the scraping had been the loudest. He needed proof. He needed to know he wasn't losing his mind. He sat on the couch, watching the live feed on his laptop, refusing to sleep. The hours ticked by. Midnight, 1 a.m., 2 a.m. The house was silent. Maybe he had imagined it. Then, at exactly 3:29 a.m., it happened. He watched, mesmerized in horror, as the wallpaper in the living room began to ripple. A vertical seam appeared in the drywall, splitting open without a sound. It didn't crack, it peeled back slowly, like a pair of dry lips parting to reveal a dark, cavernous mouth. A thin, gray arm snaked out from the darkness within. The hand was skeletal, with long, dirty fingers. It reached for a framed photo on a nearby end table, a picture of Jason at his graduation. The fingers wrapped around the frame, and with a swift tug, pulled it into the wall. The wall then sealed itself shut, the wallpaper smoothing over as if nothing had ever happened. Not a crack, not a seam, just a blank wall. Panic finally broke through his paralysis. He scrambled for the front door, fumbling with the lock. It wouldn't turn. He pulled, he twisted, he slammed his shoulder against it, but it was sealed shut as if it were welded to the frame. A flicker of light caught his eye. His laptop screen, which had been showing the camera feed, now displayed a single, high-resolution image. It was a photo of him, right now, sleeping on the couch just moments ago. The angle was impossible. It was taken from inside the wall. His phone lit up next. Same image. Then the TV across the room powered on, displaying the same terrifying picture, 10 feet tall. Suddenly, the walls around him began to move. It was subtle at first, a slight expanding and contracting. The house was breathing. Slow, deep, hungry breaths. The scraping sound started again, this time from all directions, louder, more frantic. The whispers multiplied into a chorus. "The last picture. Give us the last picture." Jason let out a scream of pure terror. He grabbed a chair and hurled it at the living room window. The glass exploded outward. Without a second thought, he scrambled through the jagged opening, slicing his arms and hands, not even feeling the pain. He landed on the lawn and just ran, not looking back, the sound of the house breathing echoing in his ears. A week later, the landlord came by to investigate the broken window and the tenant who had vanished. He stepped inside. The house was quiet still. Everything was just as Jason had left it. The chair was back in its place. The shattered glass was gone. It looked completely normal, except for one thing. Taped to the center of the bedroom wall was a new photograph. It was a picture of Jason standing in the front doorway, his back to the camera, as if he were just about to leave. He never returned. No one knows where he went, but the house is still there, on that quiet street, waiting. It's always waiting, hungry for its next picture. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more chills.